This is the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 4. It says, And I will turn thee back and put hook into thy jaws, and will bring thee forth in all thy army, horse and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, in a great company of buckled shields, all of them having swords. This is Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but then it's not yet. Matthew 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence and plagues and earthquakes in diverse places. And this is the prophet Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles.
They playing some other stupid shit. What you hate at?
I just got to read.
No, we God there. So we God. They'll take a child with you.
Right.
That's how she would get up. She would get up. They go put
This is the prophet Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up, mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, and let them come up. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Wakar Kadash, and the Heavenly Father. True name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son Ba'Shem. In the name of Mashiach Yahweh Shai, those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. The Lashma Kadash will tongue, and I say Barakatham to the elders and apostles, Ba'akim Akwaf once more, and I say Shalom. And this is a news article that I want to bring up as the wars and rumors of wars are heating up between, especially past tensions been heating up for the past 2.5 months recently between Russia and NATO. And then you got the Russia-Ukraine situation is intensifying. And this is a news article from Newsweek.com, published October 30th, 2025 at 3:52 a.m. and updated October 30th, 2025 at 7:27 a.m. And it says NATO scrambles fighter jets at the mass It says as a mass it says NATO scrambled fighter jet at a mass Russian missile attack. It says NATO members Poland scrambles after a fighter jet early on Thursday to defend its airspace after Russia launched a missile and drone strike on Ukraine's critical infrastructure overnight. It says Polish military says fighter jets and early warnings aircraft responded to the attacks on site in neighboring Ukraine, activating the highest state of alert for Russian grounding-based air defense and radar systems. It says in the context, the Russian strikes on Ukraine regularly push NATO countries, particularly Poland, to share their airspace with fighter jets. It says Moscow drones and missiles entering NATO space has not been treated as attacks on the alliance so far. Member nations are collectively obligated to respond to attacks on the other allied nations under Article 5 of the founding treaty. Roughly 20 drones crossed into Poland last month at what several European leaders cast as a test for NATO. Several countries contributed extra fighter jets to the eastern flank close to Russia. After the inclusion, Moscow denying international targeting the country. It says Poland said its response was preventive and its forces remain ready for immediate response. It says Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky says that Russia has carried out complex combining strikes with over 650 drones and more than 50 missiles. It says Russia says it has launched a massive strike with the long-range precision weapons and drones against Ukraine energy sites, military aircraft and facilities propping up Kirby's defense industry. The strike's targets were achieved. All design object were hit, the defense minister says on Thursday. The Ukrainian authorities imposed restrictions on electricities using following a massive missile and drone strike on the country's energy infrastructure, energy state-owned electricity transmission systems. Operator in the Ukraine Bureau, if I pronounced that right, said early Thursday that emergency power outages were in the place in most Ukrainian regions. Moscow has frequently honed in on Ukraine's critical infrastructure, particularly in the running up of freezing winter months. It says officials say Russia has damaged two energy facilities in the western regions of Lviv, which borders Poland. Moscow carried out a dawn strike on a separate site in the Alivno-Frankivsk region, southeast of Lviv. The regional government says authorities says two people were unalive and 17 others injured in a drone and missile assault on the southeastern city of Zaporizhia. Russia damaged 5 high-rise buildings and several house infrastructure facilities in cities, according to the regional governor Alvin Vedero. Russia also targeted a city around Kyiv, the southern Mykolaiv region in the northern Sumy and Chernihiv regions, and the central Dnipro, Kharkiv, Poltava, and the Advanced regions. It says officials reported 5 people were injured overnight during the strikes of one civilian critical infrastructure in the Valley. CC said that Natalia Sebrelatina, the deputy chief of the regional administration, DTEK, Ukraine's largest private energy company, says Russia has attacked its thermal power plants in various parts of Ukraine with new missiles and damaged unspecified equipment. It says the company says that a wave of aerial assaults were the third massive attacks on the company's thermal power plants in this month, that Moscow has fired on other facilities more than 200 times in more than 3.5 years. Russia launched its full-scale invasion in Ukraine in February 2022. It says, what are people saying? The Polish military says that the operational commander in the country has activated all available forces and means at their disposal. It says all efforts should be made to restore power and water supply swiftly as possible whenever it has been disrupted, Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky said. Excuse me. Once again, this is the Prophet Joel. This is the Prophet Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up, mighty man, like all the men of war draw near, like to come up. Right, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the Russia-Ukraine situation is intensifying. Get back to that Matthews 24 chapter. Matthews 24, verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right, as are increasing, building up, intensifying wars and rumors of wars between Russia, Ukraine, and NATO versus Russia as well, too. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be no trouble, for all these things must first come to pass, but then it's not yet. Matthews 24, verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, which goes to F notes. It says, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. So with that, hopefully this was edifying of this recent news article as the rising tensions heating up between Russia and NATO, and Russia-Ukraine as well too. As it says again, NATO scrambles fighter jets after a mass Russian missile attack. So with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakakadash, and the Heavenly Father. True name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. The Lash Wakadash Lutan, and I say Barak Thumb to the elders and apostles with Akim Akwaf. Until next time, we'll say Shalom.
You know this song?
Yeah, off of Street Fighter.